Carlos. This is season 5 of Off Your Flosser podcast.
Season cinco. That's what I'm going to call it. I'm going to say it in Spanish.
That's fair enough. Throwback to your heritage.
You know.
All right.
All right. Well, thanks for listening, guys.
Thank you. Here we go.
All right. All right. So this is episode 201 of the OYF podcast. Just off the top, Sandy is not on the screen. She wasn't feeling well today, so we got our buddy Becky Reed to stand in again from Thru The Lens event photography, and we have a special guest in the studio, and I didn't want to tackle this guy by myself. So,
oh man, I don't know how special I am, but thank you.
Well, you know, anybody that's willing and brave enough to get on this podcast is special in my opinion. So,
well, you told me that there's only 3 people that are going to see it, so I'm not really that nervous.
Yeah, I mean, but those are special 3 people. So, you know, we definitely don't want to disappoint my mom and
hi, Mom,
and the other 2 people. I'm kidding. And again, I always joke that we only have 3 listeners, but it's a little bit more than that. And so, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. This is Mr. Ian Miller, right? And the man of many talents. And I'm gonna let you introduce yourself, sir. Why don't you go ahead?
Oh my gosh, man of many talents. I don't know about man of many talents, but my name is Ian Miller. I am a fractional CRO for the dental industry. So I work with several companies that have incredibly innovative and wonderful products. Prior to that, I've been in the apparel business. I've done stand-up comedy like Carlos, although I never was as good as him. I never opened up for Jim Gaffigan.
Well, you know, not everybody.
That's pretty impressive. That's pretty impressive.
Thanks, man. It was a lot of fun. I can't do it. I can't wait to do it again. You know,
I can imagine. With the Bellagio, was it?
Yeah, in Vegas, dude. It was a pretty cool experience. I'm not gonna lie, man. It was.
Sure it was. Sure it was. So I've had a very colorful past. I've done a lot of things, but this is really my passion now. I just love what I am doing.
Do you know what that means, Becky? Fractional CFO? Because I'm still
CRO.
See,
not F. CR.
No,
that's how off I am. Can you explain that?
Yeah,
please.
Absolutely. So a CRO is a chief revenue officer. So it's the guy. It's kind of a new term for the guy who used to run sales. Like, you know, back 5-10 years ago, they had somebody who ran sales. Now everyone has to have a chief in front of them, right? So but being politically correct, we can't say chief when it comes to certain things, but in terms of business, everyone's a chief, right? So you have a chief revenue officer, you have a chief financial officer, a chief executive officer, a chief people officer. Everyone's a chief now, right? So it's a chief revenue officer, fractional, meaning that I work a fraction of the time. So I only work an hour a week. No, just kidding. I work for a whole bunch of that.
I know, right? I want your job.
I work for a whole bunch of different companies as their chief revenue officer, and of course, I get a fraction of the price that normally would be paid for that type of position. But that's okay, because there's strength in numbers, right? So in working with all those different companies, they all gel together, and it's just a lot of fun.
So just talk to me like I'm 5 years old and see if I understand it. So a company has a product that's selling, let's say, 5,000 units a month. You help them scale to 50,000
exactly.
or that
exactly.
type of, okay, and multiply.
Exactly.
Okay. All right.
I mean, the people that would normally use a fractional CRO are companies that are either startups. Startups are a perfect type of example where they have a dentist with a great idea, and or a hygienist. I've got a lot of people that are hygienists who come up with these incredible ideas for product, and they get it made, they get the prototypes, they attend the trade show, and they sit and they hope that people are just going to swarm at their booth, but they realize that that's just not the way business works. It's not like Kevin Costner where you can build it and they will come. It's something that takes a lot of planning, a lot of work, a lot of contacts, a lot of everything that you need to really be able to make that business work. So they would normally they would use a CRO to get it there. But startups, they usually can't find somebody who will work for the kind of money that they can afford. So that's where a fractional CRO comes in. We help companies do that. We help foreign companies come into the United States. So if you're a foreign company and you really don't have the boots on the ground, you don't have the knowledge of the American market, because it's not just about, you know, calling up a dental office saying, hey, I've got a great product. It's understanding the American market, because it's very, very different from most foreign markets.
People like Becky and myself, and we offer services more than products. Is that a market that would fit for she's a photographer, and she does event photography and that type of thing. Becky, you want to explain it? And
Yeah. So
hit him with your elevator pitch. See what you think.
So I do event photography. Photography is my passion. I love any type of photography, but I love doing events the most because I love capturing the essence of the people there and how much fun they're having and how engaged they are with everybody. And I want to take that off of the event planners, the event coordinators' plates. I don't want them to have to worry about getting those pictures so they can show everybody, you know, for their next event, what it's going to be like. So that's where I come in. And that's what I love doing it. I don't know. I just love it. So it's
That's
fun.
awesome. That's awesome.
So yeah, so that's what I do. And that's what I want to get more into and start doing all these events and helping people out.
Well, I love that. I love that because, you know, after being to so many events over the last decade or so, just having somebody to capture what's going on is so important. Yes. You know, it's not something that you think about. A lot of event planners, I don't think about it, but it's something that, you know, again, for marketing purposes, for, you know, and just for your own, you know, benefit to have those pictures, that video or video. Do you do video also or just pictures?
I do a little video. Yeah. So I'll do little clips here and there, and but it's just like, you don't want to have to go back later on after the event's over and be like, oh, did we get a picture of that? Or, oh, who got that picture, you know, like, and try to find a certain picture if you want, you know. So.
Well, being the narcissist that I am, after every cruise, I would, you know, I'd look through the pictures and see, oh my God, was that me? Did I really have that many drinks? But you know, I would go through them and I would, you know, and I'd, you know, call up Elijah or whoever the, you know, event planner was and say, hey, how come there's not more pictures of me? I'm still looking for one of us.
I don't know how we don't have one of us. You know what I mean?
Well, you know what? Now we do, because we're just going to take a screenshot of this.
There we go.
That's right. That's right. Matter of fact, we should probably just do one right now. So I'm going to get everybody to smile. Yeah, we're doing this live on the podcast.
There's just like way too much dead space here.
Right? All right, ready? All right, everybody smile, please. 3, 2, 1. Boom. Okay, now we got a legit photo. All right, cool. So, how many? I don't want to ask you. Get into your business, but so how long have you been doing this? And is it's fairly new to the thing? Well, but I know you know everybody, so it's not.
Yeah, you know, I've been working with Higher Labs for a number of years, and just we figured out that this would be a good time to kind of branch out, and we do these things in with a strategic alliance with Higher Labs. So although I'm kind of working independently with these companies, we're doing it with Higher Labs too, because there's a benefit for you know, strength in numbers. So we work in a strategic alliance environment. There's a lot of products that we use that we're going to probably end up using Steriliner to sterilize those products, and little things like that, because there's always ways for companies to work together, even though you don't see it on the surface. In the background, there's a lot of ways to work together. So I started doing this, and it's really very, very new. I had been working with Higher Labs since, I guess, 2016, and just developed this concept really over the holidays. So it's all very fresh. It's the last few months.
You mentioned Steriliner, and for those who don't know what that is, what is it, and why should they get it?
Steriliner is by far the best appliance cleaner on the market. So where all the other appliance cleaners, I mean, everyone claims to do cleaning, but none of them really get into that and to get technical. So every plastic, every acrylic has microscopic dimples. Okay, tiny little microscopic little holes that nobody can see. But you know who sees it? Bacteria.
Bacteria. Yeah.
Bacteria
They
finds its
always
way
do, man.
into those little holes. And that's why no matter how much you clean your aligner with any appliance cleaner on the market or home remedies like vinegar or any other disgusting things like that, what happens is that the surface gets cleaned, but it can't penetrate into the plastic or the acrylic to get the bacteria out of there. And that's where Sterilizer comes in. We go right in there and we get that bacteria out of those microscopic dimples, because let's face it, there's only two functions that bacteria have, right? It's replicating and defecating. And guys, that's what's in your aligner.
Well, there goes
So
breakfast.
when
So gross.
great breakfast.
So we're
yeah.
talking
So
partial dentures, bite guards,
everything.
orthodontic aligners, sports guards, all that stuff. Sleep apnea.
Exactly.
Okay.
And the big difference, again, another difference, if you take a look at most of the aligner cleaners, you'll see they all say, do not leave in for more than 15 minutes, not safe with metal, all this. So with Sterilizer, you can use it with metal, you can use it on any appliance, and it's not going to harm it. It's not going to make it more brittle. It's not going to create more of those microscopic dimples.
Change the color,
And
nothing like that, right?
no. It keeps it crystal clear because those little microscopic dimples filled with all that defecation. That's what it is, guys. So filled with that is what Sterilizer is getting out of there. So it keeps it crystal clear. Most of the other appliance cleaners, you just find yellow appliances, brown appliances, discolored. Ours is crystal clear. Every time you use it, it'll be crystal clear.
I remember patients handing me partials that I can't even
Oh.
describe, and I was just like, "Good," and expecting me to barehand it. I said, "What are you, out of your
Right?
mind?" You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, hold on, let me grab some gloves in the
Right?
Oh my God,
I know.
that
I
reminds me
know.
of something which is.
I'm not making fun of it, but in my mind, I'm like, "How can you put this back in your mouth?" Is
I
what
know.
I remember thinking, and it just kind of weirded me out a little bit.
Disgusting.
And I can touch anything as long as I got gloves on. You know what I mean?
So
But I'm not
when you said
barehanded.
that, okay, this is
Nothing
right. I got to
good.
tell you, this is embarrassing. It's me being a little vulnerable, but a little bit crazy at the same time.
Well,
So
yeah, that's what we
when
do. So bring it.
my
What do you got?
firstborn, okay, here I am, a new father, and my son came home and he had his first great wet dump.
Nice,
Okay, I didn't know what to do.
dude.
At least I don't know. I literally I put on a mask, I put on gloves, and I covered myself in a gown to change this diaper because I was just like, there's just no way I could go near this.
You just went
And
straight up biohazard, right?
exactly, and like literally, like you're talking about gloves. I'm holding it like as far away from me with my two fingers as possible, and it's just like actually, fast forward a couple of months, and like you could be changing them all in an arm while eating a hamburger at the same time.
Yeah.
The first time, oh my God,
Yeah.
that was wild.
Luckily, I had a lot of experience with my younger siblings. I'm the oldest of 5 boys, and so I changed diapers on 3 of them, and so I was already
The other two just stayed dirty. What?
Well, no. Me and my brother Lou, we're close in age, so I didn't have to, and I couldn't. But the other ones it's 11 years, and then 13 years, and then 16 years difference. So yeah, I got my hands wet early, so to speak, and
Literally, yeah.
I was up to my elbows in baby poop when I was 11
Right.
years old. It was ridiculous, but good training for being a dad and a grandpa. So
Absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely.
Becky, did you have any problem jumping into the diaper situation, or?
No, because I have also a younger brother that was 8 years younger than me, so I helped raise
Okay, so
him.
it wasn't-
So I was
wasn't-
used to changing diapers from that. So no. Mm-mm. And
No,
I think it just comes natural to a woman. I think changing a diaper.
That's a little sexist.
I don't know.
But
I know. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you're not allowed to say that today.
but yeah, but it's true though. You know what I'm saying? I
mean,
know
I think
some.
it's just built in us. I don't know.
It's a nurturing thing. But
Yeah.
I know some guys that'll change a wet diaper, but they won't change one with poop. And I'm like, dude, just wash your hands. You're gonna be
Yeah,
fine.
right?
You know what I mean? Relax.
Yeah.
It's not that big a deal. But whatever, man. Yeah, I dive in there. You know who impressed me? While we're talking about baby poop, I don't know why, but my son, because he's a little, I don't say fancy, but he likes to finer things, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And but when his son was born, dude, he was in there just without hesitation, just fearless. And I was like, wow, that was impressive. And you know, I was super proud of him for doing that. So big ups to my boy there for taking care of my other boy. So anyway, all right. So back to business. Back to business. So, Ian, I don't know. I don't think I can fake it much longer, dude. We've been having conversations and planning some stuff. Do you want to talk about it?
Hell yeah! Are you kidding me? Hell yeah! So you asked the
good.
question before about services, whether or not we are a CRO for services, and we are CRO for the service. And when I say the service, this could be the biggest thing in dental to hit dental years. So my good friend and podcaster extraordinaire, Carlos Rodriguez, will be, I'm watching you blush as we speak. I'm trying to get you as red as my shirt, right? So
it might take a little bit more than that, but but you're on your way. You're on your way.
We will be launching something that is just going to be incredible. So as you mentioned, Carlos is a very, very funny man. And what we will be doing is we will be launching two things in the very near future. One will be virtual emotional intelligence courses, which will be for any dental office, and Carlos can describe that way better than I can. But the other thing, which I'm really excited about, is corporate retreats for dental offices, for DSOs. It's going to be incredible. You have dental staff of 5, and you bring on 2 new people. You need a little bit of team building. That would be an incredible opportunity. If you do any kind of mergers with another dental office, you're starting your own DSO, you want the offices to see, everyone to kind of like have fun and talk. We'll be doing this corporate retreat, or for DSOs to build some management skills and stuff like that. And the cool thing about it is that we're not just we could do it at your office, we could do it at a hotel nearby, or if you want to take the team on a weekend away to an island or a cruise or anything like that, we will be doing that as well. But think of it this way, it's not just about team building, because let's say your team is getting into implants. Well, we're going to bring some implant speakers, which you'll be able to get some CEs, and you'll be able to educate and have fun and do all that team building with your whole team or that extended team. And Carlos is the man who's going to run it from top to bottom. And you can be assured you are going to have a blast, because he is a laugh a minute.
I mean, who's not going to want to do that? I mean, so I want to do that right now. Like, I want to go.
When I heard you describe it, right?
Carlos, I've already gotten one text.
Did you really? That's hilarious.
Seriously.
Just now.
Awesome.
Just now. Just somebody said, I want in.
This is,
That's insane.
It's incredible.
That's awesome.
I'll say this: when I heard you describe it, what I'm hearing, and correct me if I'm wrong, what I'm hearing is it's kind of a hand-picked, customized mini conference, really, for you and your team, or like-minded teams. We might could do 2 or 3, separate teams, but all on the same page with what they're wanting to experience. So a lot of times the big conferences are great because the variety is there, but sometimes there's too many activities and you get lost. If you're trying to get that team on as a cohesive unit, working very well back and forth, sometimes you need that intensive, focused approach and that intimate setting, I think is the best way to describe it, where you get that saturation with each other, and you learn more about them than just what's on their resume, more than just what's on their little CV. You know what I'm saying? So I'm excited, and I think it's finally. I've been searching for an outlet. I don't mean to make this about myself, but I've been looking for an outlet to I'll take it back 12 years. When I first started doing stand-up, the goal for me was to figure out a way to fuse CE or interaction with teams in a way that's engaging and fun and funny. So it wasn't to be a stand-up comedian, which, life turned that way, where I had a show last night. That's why I'm kind of dragging a little bit this morning. And it was the traffic. There were 5 accidents in Atlanta for me to get to this place. So there was no a 90-minute drive took almost 3 hours. So I was almost late to the
Somebody was
show.
trying to keep you off the stage.
Oh my gosh, and it was an outdoor show, and I got just a face full of pollen. And it's a long story, but the show went great, and we had a blast, and it was a lot of fun. But the goal was to make CE and education fun and funny, and I think this is finally coming to fruition where it's all. I figured out the Rubik's cube of all the different pieces, and so thanks again for for bringing it up and having this conversation, and I can't wait to see where this goes.
But what about the virtual emotional intelligence? What's that going to be all about?
All right, so let's say this. Maybe it's not in the budget or the schedule to take 3 days off and bring everybody to Cancun or bring everybody to Puerto Rico for a weekend. But you need some help. You got paid. Dental assistants are quitting every 2 weeks. You really can't get the production you want because no one stays long enough to get trained up in your systems well enough. So we need a reset, but money might be tight. So we'll do a condensed version where it's a virtual course. It's sort of like any other virtual course. You don't have to leave the house. It's a little bit cheaper. It's a little bit more affordable. But if you wanted the more intensive one, then the hands-on and you got new team members, whatever the case may be, we can do that at a destination. The goal for emotional intelligence is for managers, really. It's in owners. It's not for the employees, and it's how to recognize your own emotions and how that affects your team. Like you ever work with a manager or a boss and they come in and they got a sourpuss face on and you're like, oh man, today's gonna suck because Nancy or Dr. Bob is having a bad day. That's I shouldn't have to worry that I'm gonna get yelled at for something because you're in a bad mood. Does that make sense, right? And so that person isn't emotionally intelligent enough to recognize that their feelings are affecting other people in a negative way. Conversely, if someone comes in and they're usually chatty like myself and they're being extra quiet or they're distant or you just look at their face, you can tell something's, an emotionally intelligent person would be able to recognize, hey, Tina's not looking happy today. Did something happen? And then you pull them into the office and say, hey, do you want to talk? Is everything cool? So it's just a matter of just connecting to the point. And some managers know their jobs, know the technical stuff, but they don't know the people skills. You know what I mean? So that's what it's an oversimplified explanation of the emotional intelligence. But
so I have a question, and I know you're supposed to be asking me the questions, but I got a question for you. So you're a comedian.
Yeah.
And emotional intelligence sounds like it's going to be heavy at times. How do you balance that comedy with the heaviness of an emotional intelligence course?
If you've heard me at all on stage, I balance some really heavy stuff with humor. I turned me having a small tiny heart thing that hard experience I had in 2019 when I was on stage performing, and I turned that into I think my closing bit. You know what I'm saying? Where I talk about having a heart attack on stage, and so
that would be a closing bit.
Yeah, and why, and it ends with guys, life is too short. Let's be nice to each other. That type of thing. I don't want to be just a clown. I want people to walk away and go, man, I feel better after listening to this guy because he was super vulnerable. And so I talk about losing family members, and I try to make it funny because it's life is either laugh or cry. So I'd much rather laugh than cry. Although sometimes sometimes you got to drop a tear too. But the point is, I can blend heavier subjects, or someone who how to handle an aggressive patient, or someone who's upset, how to an employee's having a bad time at home, how to bridge those gaps. So we talk about, and we get kind of nitty gritty, man. We get we strip away the layers and get to the core things, and just be real people, and
I got it. You just told me if I wasn't selling this course, I'd be buying this course.
Thank you. Yeah. And it's emotional intelligence. What is it? Is that voodoo? Is that yoga? And we're doing Pilates? What's going on? And it is a soft skill. It's not something you go to college to learn. But I'm just about done getting certified as an emotional coach, emotional intelligence life coach trainer. I don't want to be a life coach, but I just the emotional intelligence part is my thing. So I'm working on that, and that's almost done, and I'm pretty excited about that. So, yeah, I practice it, studied it, and now I want to teach it and share it. So
That's awesome.
yeah.
Love it. Love
Thank
it.
you. Yeah. I'm excited. And then, at some point we might need an event photographer and we might need a
Okay.
airway person and we might need whatever the teams want to learn. So I think between us three, we know everybody in dentistry pretty much. And if we don't know somebody, I know somebody who does. Our boy Elijah knows everybody, so we'll get him wrapped in there somehow. And so we'll just keep it moving and try to take this to the next level. But yeah, I'm
That's gonna be
excited.
so much fun.
Excited.
It's gonna be fun.
I'm excited. So what else you got going on? How's life?
So talking about at these courses, one of the things that I'll be bringing to the table, and this isn't really for necessarily weekend retreats as much as it is for dental offices, but we are launching a virtual reality headset for patients to reduce their dental anxiety and even pain.
Wow.
So studies have shown that when you're using virtual reality, that your number one, your anxiety reduces tremendously because you're immersed into this virtual reality. And so what happens is that the patient's immersed. They don't have that jitteriness. They don't. First of all, they don't waste the doctor or the hygienist time by talking. Right? How many times have you sat with a patient and they're so nervous about what you're going to do that they'll bring up every subject under the planet, and whoops, 45 minutes is up already, and all of a sudden your time is gone. So what happens is this will, number one, reduce their anxiety. It will increase the amount of time that you have during the day by reducing the amount of time wasted by patients. As well, studies have shown that by being so immersed that you will actually reduce the pain levels of the patient. So where does the patient feel pain mostly, right? It's a lot of it with a needle. Sometimes if their gums are inflamed and you're with the probe, it's going to aggravate them, and they're always jerking their head around and whatnot. That could cause problems, but this keeps them focused. It keeps their head focused. And it is just a great, great tool for any office, whether it's a pedo office or an implant office, perio office, anyone who's where the dentist has a lot of patients with anxiety or is causing pain. It is going to be an incredible tool for them. It comes with first of all, it comes with a sterilizer so that you don't need to worry about patient to patient. It will come with these really cool the headphones are actually built into the unit so that you can still communicate with the patient. And the goal here is, again, reducing anxiety and pain, but also to bring new patients to your office. Because if you're one of the first guys who has this on the block and you advertise it and your patients start talking about, oh, I was at the dentist, I played the coolest game on his virtual reality while I was in the chair. I didn't even realize he was working on me. And the appointment went by so quickly that I can't wait for my next dental appointment. I mean, how great of an endorsement is that going to be?
That's crazy. I didn't know that was a thing.
Awesome.
So it's not just for video games and wasting time anymore.
No,
You can
no.
use it for real productivity. Do you know what he's talking about, Becky?
I do. My son has one of those.
Really?
I don't.
So
Yeah,
let me
I've
ask you a question about your
done it.
sons.
Yeah.
Just with your hands, show how big the virtual reality headset is.
They're like that big. They just go like that.
Exactly.
And they're like maybe like that thick.
So could you imagine
Yeah.
as a hygienist or a dentist trying to work around that thing? Impossible, right? We have developed headsets that are just like this. So the dentist can get around. They can even work from above their head if they need to, and they won't be obstructed by these. So it's
awesome.
the perfect system.
I was wondering because I'm thinking in my head, I'm thinking of my sons, and I'm like, how are you going to work around that? So that's cool.
The ones I've seen on TV, I don't have one, and I for some reason I want one, but I don't know if I'll mess with it. I don't play video games like that anymore. But yeah, they're super bulky, man, right? But not the one you're talking about.
Not the one we're talking about. It's
You
real
can see over the
sleek.
top, like if you're standing, at noon, over the patient's forehead and looking down, you can still do that with your glasses.
Pretty much. I mean,
Not
let's
the other
face it. Yeah, the glasses have to be a
some
certain amount
thickness
of
to it,
distance
right?
away from your eyes, just because you have to be able to focus. But you'll definitely be able to work around them as opposed to those big bulky headsets.
Gotcha. That sounds amazing.
And and like I said, it's been getting just incredible reviews. The media is
Awesome.
all over this.
If a dentist or a dental office was interested in getting something like this, where do they go to find out more about it?
Me,
How would they get you? What you got an email? Or?
just you can catch me at Ian Miller at imiller.com. It's the easiest one to remember. IANMILLER at imiller.com. And yeah, no matter what product we're talking about, we'll be able to take care of it.
So dental VR.
It's going to be everywhere in the news in the coming months.
Dude, that sounds like a great way to unwind, because sometimes you want to watch TV in bed, but you don't want to prop a bunch of pillows up so you can slap the TV to your face.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
And that's why I said that, for the emotional intelligence course, we'll find some really cool games and videos that you'll be able to play on these VR headsets.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you've ever watched anybody play a VR game.
I've seen it on YouTube.
It is
it's
the
hilarious.
wildest thing. And we will have a lot of fun with that.
I see people kicking TVs over and doing all kinds of wild. I saw one dude. It's not funny, but it was funny. Back kick like a 5-year-old dude and just kicked him across the room. And I'm like, the kid was fine, but it shocked him a little bit, and it was hilarious. And yeah, unfortunately,
the things that you find funny.
It's not now that I say it out loud, it sounds a little cruel, but I didn't get it to 2 million views by myself. You know what I'm saying? So everybody
maybe I want to edit this part out of the video that Carlos is a little bit of a sadist.
Well, tragedy is comedy, and I'll give you an example. You're hanging out with your buddies, right? And it's cold. You're leaving, a restaurant in Chicago, and maybe not a restaurant, but you're a hotel or whatever, and he slips on ice. Doesn't get hurt. You check, you make sure he's okay, and then you laugh your ass off. You know what I mean? Because it was funny the way he fell down, or he dropped his package with.
Okay, we need a little honesty here, Carlos.
Yeah.
You checked that he's okay and then laughed your ass off, or you laughed your ass off and then checked he was okay?
No. Well, the guys my age, we got to check that they're okay first. Dude, you all right? Yeah, man. And then he's sitting in the puddle. That's hilarious, bro. Now if he's hurt, then you take care of him, and then you talk shit about him later. But if he's okay, we're laughing right now. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it happened to me, and I was here. This is what happened to me, because this is how I know this is how it works. I see my buddies sitting outside, 3 of them sitting outside of Starbucks, and I'm driving home from dinner with my wife and my daughter. This is a few years ago. The guys are at Starbucks. You want to come over and get a cup of coffee and hang out for a little bit? Sure. So we pull over on the far end, on the opposite side of the Starbucks, and there was a little drive-through. They had just paved it, and it was stringed off, right? A little light water thing, just a light rain just came through. So there was a slick surface on the freshly paved blacktop that had a sign, "Do not walk on it." What do? I step over the string, and as I put my second foot down, my foot slipped out from underneath me, and I was trying to catch myself and not fall on the blacktop. And I fell for about 15 seconds in one spot. If that made, like, it was like a Bugs Bunny cartoon. You know what I'm saying? Like my legs kept sliding out, dude. In hindsight, that's freaking hilarious, But I finally go down, bam, on one knee, and it was so soft. I dented the blacktop with my knee, my right knee. So my new jeans had a big greasy spot on them, and they were all wet from the water sitting there. And all I heard, and I get up and I go, I said some choice words, and all I heard was screaming from those 3 guys, and they were just laughing so loud. My wife got upset because she thought they didn't even check that you were fine. I'm like, they saw me stand up, and that's when they cut loose. They didn't laugh until after I got back up. And I can only imagine how funny that was. I mean, they never let me forget about it either. I think I ran into them. We had dinner a few weeks ago. A couple guys came back into town and we went out and they were like, "Yeah, remember that time you fell at Starbucks?" I was like, "Yeah, I totally remember the time I fell at Starbucks." So
That's why we need ocular video cameras that are on 24/7. Because you can't take your camera out fast enough to catch that.
no,
Right.
and because I wasn't expecting for it to be that slick, and like it was. I'm surprised I didn't blow a kneecap, seriously, because it was just like I was just falling for like 15 seconds, trying to save it, man. And I should have just laid down, but I went down hard, man. It was dumb but funny.
Don't you feel silly after that?
Oh yeah, you feel like an idiot for
because,
sure.
well, no, but the thing that is the worst is that when you do that for those what seems like 15 seconds, and you end up falling anyways, you kind of say to yourself that, oh my God, I just twisted my body in so many different ways. I'm going to have so much more pain. I should have gone down first.
Yeah, it should have
That's
just
how I would just
Right.
hurt my knee and be done with it. Now I've got
lay
back
down.
pain, shoulder pain, neck pain. I got a goiter. I've got everything going on now. And it's just like, I should have gone down.
The drive home, I still remember the smell of diesel from the blacktop. You know what I'm saying? It was horrible, bro. I had to throw the pants away and everything, man. So stupid.
And
Dumb stuff.
I do stuff like that, and then I wake up the next morning, and I'm like, wait, why am I so sore today? And then I was like, oh yeah, I fell.
Why do I have a bruise on my elbow? What the hell is this all about? You've never fallen at a bowling alley or done anything silly like that? Ian, it's happened to everybody.
Oh yeah, I mean, I live in Montreal, and there's ice everywhere all the time,
dude. Let me ask you something. This is a dumb question. I grew up in Jersey. We had ice, seasonal stuff, right? And you're even more north of that, right, Becky?
Oh yeah.
I'm in Michigan. Yeah.
Yeah. So you know about ice.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh yeah.
Is there a footwear other than something with spikes on it that you can walk on? You can't. There's nothing you can walk on ice with, right? It's all you got to be careful.
There's kind of like there's certain rubber soled shoes and boots that have good treads that are not bad.
Yeah.
But it what happens, and I just learned this not long ago, is like you see skaters, right? And you think that they're skating on ice. They're not. They're actually skating on water. What happens is the friction causes the ice to just a little bit, melts a little bit. And so that's what becomes slippery. So when you're walking on ice and you're creating that friction, if the ice is really, like when it's really cold outside and you're walking on ice, you don't slip as much. But when it's, around, freezing point and you're walking on ice, it's just brutal because it's melting as you're walking, and that little bit of water on top of the ice is where you're slipping.
Never thought of that before, but that's
I just made it up, so I'm just
honestly, and I don't know why I remember this. You guys know Joe Rogan, right? The podcast.
Yeah.
Neil deGrasse Tyson, the physics guy. Anyway, he's talking about how just what you said, like if you put like a metal fence on an ice block and put weight on it, that point where it touches, it'll melt and it'll freeze around the metal fence. And that's exactly what you're talking about. Just so the weight of the metal raises the temperature a little bit so it melts right there, and then it refreezes after you pass over it. That's crazy.
Yeah, and that's why it gets, that's why you find that there's a lot more accidents when it's freezing rain and that kind of stuff than when it's 40 below.
So we do it all here, guys. We do it all. Jokes.
This is really the education that's on this podcast is just unbelievable.
All right. Now I want to now I'm going to switch gears. I want to talk about your drinks, Ian.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah. I don't know how I forgot that.
I know, God.
Great call.
I follow you obviously on Instagram, so I've been watching your drinks every time you post them, and I'm like, oh, that does sound good.
As a matter of fact, I have to change my calendar. Hang on one second. It's April, so it's April 1st, and this isn't an April Fool's joke. So last year for my birthday, my kids made me a calendar for every month because every week I put out a new drink. And so this was last April's.
Gosh, I love it.
As a matter of fact, you can see the one because that's when the war in Ukraine started. So I did one for Ukraine.
Look at that.
Right.
Wow.
And now we go to the next month, which is April. And you can see the difference because I live on a lake, And so you can see that in
Oh,
March, the lake was frozen, and now it's
yeah.
starting to
Oh,
melt, and you
wow.
can see the trees are still bare, and the sky was a little slushy, so it didn't. I was kind of excited for the summer, and but you'll see all the drinks are kind
That's
of unique.
awesome. Yeah.
And
Super.
then the summer comes, and you can see the trees starting to bloom, and I had made this kind of cool looking apple guy here. So every month is like 3 or 4 or 5 new drinks. Midsummer, you get the real fruity kind of ones. This is one of my favorites. This is a black vodka martini.
What?
Do you make these up, or are these recipes that you already have, or just
every
your?
single one is I make up, and I
Okay. Oh my
literally
gosh.
I make them up literally on the day that I do it. I don't think about it in advance. Sometimes I have to run out and get a couple of ingredients,
Mm.
but they're all really, really kind of
Oh
cool
my
drinks.
Are you a
awesome.
trained bartender, man? Or
I know,
I
right?
do have my license, but I've never worked behind a
Okay.
bar a day in
Oh.
my life.
Okay.
Oh,
So
Because I wouldn't know where to
just
start. I
create
wouldn't know
these.
where to
Yeah.
start. But that looks
right.
hey, guys. If you're just listening to this, where could they see the photos of these things? Because honestly, and no exaggeration, it's like artwork. Seriously, it's
Mhm.
absolutely amazing. And the way he describes them, I'm like, damn, I've never even thought of something like that.
Right?
That sounds
Yeah, they get a
delicious,
little bit crazy. I mean, yeah, I'll use chili pepper in a lot of my drinks.
dude.
I'll use kind of weird ingredients that people would never think of. The other day, I made a pickle martini. Now, who would have ever? It was amazing.
People drink
It was
pickle
if you
juice, man.
dill
I
pickle,
don't, but hell, I'd
amazing.
try it. You know,
Picklebacks. Have you ever had a pickleback? When you're
Pickle,
drinking?
no.
what is
It's
that?
it's you take a shot or you have a drink. I don't usually it's with vodka, and then you do a shot of pickle juice. It's your pickleback.
Oh, cool.
Maybe it's just a Midwestern thing or Michigan thing. I don't know. But
Well,
yeah,
pickles are great for you. Actually, pickle juice is amazing
it
for you.
is. Yeah, it
And
has a
but it's just kind of unique flavor. And I was just thinking, like, if you could put olives or have a dirty martini with olive juice, why
right?
not have pickle juice? So it's kind of it was a different flavor. It was a little more tart, but it was awesome. So you just whatever ingredient you have lying around the house, you can just throw in a drink, and if you
The,
like
the,
the
the,
ingredients, you'll like the drink.
the black martini. What makes it black? What is that? Coffee? What do you put in there?
No, it's actually black martini. It's I'm going to probably pronounce this and explain it wrong, but it's fulvic acid, and it FULVIC, and it just makes black. As a matter of fact, I was just in the store the other day, and they had fulvic water, so it was black water, which I had never seen before. I just saw it for the first time, but it's kind of cool. And one of the things about my drinks is they're either going to be really harsh, like a martini. For a lot of people, it's very harsh tasting the first sip. But most of my drinks, you will not. I'll use 3 or 4 ounces of alcohol in there, and you will not even taste the alcohol.
That's dangerous.
And I'm not talking about a 24-ounce drink that has 3 or 4 ounces. I'm talking about 6 or 7 ounce drink, or even
glass.
I have one drink.
Okay.
I have one drink that you will not taste the alcohol, even though it's 100% alcohol.
Really?
It's one of those things with the combinations. I'll give you a trick right now. Okay, instead of putting vodka in a Bloody Mary, put gin, even if you hate gin, and you will not even know that the alcohol is there. It's just something about the gin, the floral scent of the gin, the taste of the gin will actually kind of be countered by the acidity of the orange, the tomato rather, and you will not even know what you're drinking. You could drink 6 of them and you won't even know that you're drinking anything, which is dangerous.
Yeah, if you can make it to 6. That's the Walter White of cocktails, folks. Dude, but yeah, so some of that stuff looks amazing, and yeah, I don't know if I want to drink 6 of them in a row, but yeah, I definitely want to try 1 or 2 at least, man. That looks amazing.
So it's Ian Miller _150, I think. Yeah, Ian Miller _150 at Instagram.
Go check them out. Seriously, just even if you don't drink, go check out the artistic nature of them, because I mean they're pretty to look at too, man.
Uh-huh.
And you shine the light through them. You got the sun coming through them or whatever, and yeah, no, that looks they look amazing. And
It's
Yeah,
fun.
Yeah, I don't
fanciest
even-
I get is old fashioned. That's as fancy as I get. That's all I make. Old fashioned, or I open a bottle of wine.
Once it gets between your lips, it doesn't matter.
Right, right.
are you like that with food also?
No, I don't eat anything. I am the least creative food person you've ever. I mean, there's so many foods I don't eat. It's my friends. So it's gotten to a point where it's so crazy that my friends actually have a conversation with their friends and their families about my psychosis when it comes to food. That it's a whole subject matter outside of myself. It's had its own legs and just takes on a whole new life. I don't eat anything white. I don't eat anything creamy. I don't eat any vegetable. I don't eat any. I don't eat fish. There's just so many lists of things. Like I have never
I didn't know
tasted
that
cream
about
cheese. I have never tasted cream cheese.
Really?
What?
I've never
bagel?
tasted sour cream.
And
I've
chives?
not.
Really?
No.
Oh, wow.
I'll put orange juice in milk. I mean, in cereal. It's just
Really?
I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't clean off plates. My nephew came up when this was much younger, and you can imagine with the mask and the gloves story about the diaper. Same thing. It was the first time we ever, because my wife doesn't have cream cheese either. So we bought cream cheese for him. He put it on his bagel. He's like 5 years old. So he didn't just put a neat little, amount. He just slobbered it on, and it was all over the plate and everything else afterwards. And literally I had to, like when he finished, I went and I got the gloves and I got the mask, and I took the plate and I threw out the plate. This was not talking paper plate. We're talking a real plate here. This kid pissed in his pants. He was laughing so hard.
That's hilarious.
But I couldn't do it. I have these foods. So when it comes to food, no. When it comes to drinks, yes.
Well, I'm just the opposite, dude.
Cream cheese drink.
I'll eat anything if it's cooked right. You know what I mean? What is that? A horse head? Cut me off a slice. Yeah, dude. Which is why I have an addiction with food. So, with the way I eat now, some days I just don't eat. Like I'll skip a day in between. I've talked about it before. I don't want to beat a dead horse, no pun intended. But yeah, so if I don't have to worry about eating a little bit or just try to make a healthy choice, I just don't eat at all, and I'm better off for it. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like an all or nothing.
Oh, absolutely.
For me. So yeah, so it's working. I feel great, man. But yeah, so I didn't know that about the food, but I have grown adult friends that don't eat seafood or shellfish, and it's not for allergy reasons. They just don't like the texture. And I'm like, well, you never had shrimp? And they're like, nah, I can't do it. I've tried it. I don't like it. I'm like, I don't get it, but everybody's got their thing.
That's okay. If you eat something and don't like it, I get that. I'll never taste things. I cannot bring myself to taste any food.
So
if I haven't had it by now, I'm not tasting it.
What are you, like a steak and bread guy? I mean, what do you eat?
Yeah. I mean, I can have it. But most people need to have like a steak with all kinds of things around it, potatoes and vegetables and stuff. I can have a steak alone. I'm happy with that.
Okay, yeah, I can probably do that once in a while. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Like I said, at this stage, I'm just not trying anything new.
Weird food habits, Becky? No.
No, I like everything almost. So yeah, I don't. My kids, on the other hand, they're very picky too. So like, my daughter doesn't do hamburger. I think it's a texture kind of thing. So she won't any sort of hamburger in anything. So my son.
I think there are more people who have texture issues than taste issues.
So too. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't get it. I'll eat anything, and that's a problem. It's been a problem my whole life. So anyway, well, I don't want to beleaguer this. Is that a word?
No idea.
It is now.
Right?
All right, I don't want to.
You just said it.
I might have to cut that off, but I got to look it up. But I think that's a word, but I'm not really sure, to be honest with you. So yeah, I don't want to drag this out all morning. I know you guys got things to do, but any last questions, Becky?
Well, I'd love to just tell you something else that I'm doing. It's two other quick things.
Sure.
One of them is the auto flosser, which if you've ever had trouble threading leader floss, this is by far the best tool you could ever imagine. because, there it goes. So it's just the most awesome tool because you know how like you try and get your fingers from the doctor and get it underneath your wires or under your bridge, you're all on fours and it's next to impossible. In the front it's easy, but in the back, forget it. So what this does, you just point it, shoot the floss through, and you could floss like a pro. Very, very best tool on the market if you've got any kind of fixed prosthesis, any kind of wires, whether it's braces or if it's a bonded retainer, that kind of thing. It's exceptional.
That's from our good buddy, Dr. Tom Jackson. He was on episode 150 when he, Sandy and myself ate Carolina Reaper demon pepper.
I watched that one.
Oh, that was so bad, dude. That's not
That
food.
was good.
Don't mess with Carolina Reaper peppers, dude, or the any of them, because it's not food. It's torture. Is what it is. Like, if they weaponize it and put it in a spray, that's not food, man. You know what I'm saying? That is all I'm saying. And yeah, so we talked about this before, and everybody knows the autoflosser, from OYF, and it's, if you got, like you said, bonded lingual retainers for people with ortho, or a 3-unit bridge, 4-unit bridge, implant supported, abutments. You got to get around on that stuff. Takes dexterity out of the equation, gets in there, in and out, keeps it simple, and they're crazy affordable too. So it's not like a $300 thing.
So it's $45 plus shipping.
Okay.
It's available on Amazon. It's available on our website, so you have your choice. And for a 90-day supply of floss to go with it, it comes with 30-day supply. With a 90-day supply, would cost an extra $18.
There you go. And in a 3-unit bridge is what, $4,000. So it seems like a cheap investment. What are you spending? Braces? Get around those bonded retainers. Do it right. Do it the right way. Get yourself an autoflosser, folks.
Can offices have that on hand too and sell to their patients?
Oh, absolutely. Offices have it on hand or just recommend their patients, and we go to the VIP programs. The offices can have a revenue share or get free product depending on what their philosophy is.
I know some patients are going to be like, "Oh, I have to go order that." Like, they sometimes just want to buy it right then and there.
Exactly.
So office can have a few of them on hand, for
exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And the other thing is we're launching a brand new interdental brush in a couple of months, which is going to blow away the Curaproxis and the Tepes. It's the most unbelievable thing. But that's coming in a couple of months, and hopefully we'll sit down again and talk about it later on when it's available. But the one thing that we're doing also is a chew brush. So it's called the treat brush, and it's a chew toy and toothbrush for dogs. Eventually cats, but for dogs. And it is the coolest thing. Basically what it is it's a chew toy with specially designed holes, which we call floss slots, which when you chew on, the dog's teeth goes in it and it gives it a 360-degree cleaning around each tooth. There's also little rubber nubs to massage the gums. And it's hollow, so you could put any treat that you want inside. So imagine your dog likes a bully stick or something, and you just put the bully stick in there, and the dog already knows he likes that flavor. He starts chewing on it, gets the flavor of the bully stick, cleaning his teeth front to back, and just enjoying himself. Not only that, but because he's not chewing on the bully stick or the collagen stick, whatever it is that he likes, or blob of peanut butter, he's not absorbing the calories as fast as if it's just in his mouth, right? So it takes down the caloric intake, and there's 50% of dogs today have weight problems, and this is going to help slow down the caloric intake and the cost, right? If your dog's going through his treats quickly, this will slow that down, so it actually ends up saving you money.
I love it. That's awesome. I don't have a dog anymore, but I would try to brush her teeth. She hated it. And I've actually scaled her teeth with my own scaler. Wow. Because I'm like, oh my gosh, she's got so much tartar in there, her breasting. So I'm behind her, like head locked in, and I'm scaling her teeth. Yeah, it was pretty comical. She hated it,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I got him cleaned.
Another reason for those virtual
Maybe.
reality, not the virtual reality, but the video glasses, because that would be funny. That sounds like a wrestling match.
Right.
Yeah. How big a dog?
She was a chocolate lab, so she was actually pretty big.
Oh, that's a big size.
And
wow.
yeah, so she was, gosh, probably 80, 90 pounds. I know she was a big chocolate lab.
That's
So
a hoss
yeah,
right there. Yeah.
but yeah, Sandy would probably like that for her dogs though too.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
If
Yeah,
you guys,
it's going to be in every home. It's
you
going to
guys
be
want
in
to
every
wait a
home.
second,
Awesome.
I'll grab mine.
Oh yeah.
You want me to grab it?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I'll
Yeah,
be right back.
sure.
Okay.
I got one that you sent me. I don't know if you can see it.
Oh, cool.
Oh yeah.
Is that it?
Cool.
That's it, right?
Yep.
And
Yeah.
yeah, it's freaking blue. You got a little hollow cavity for it, and let me say you can. Where's the? There we go. So it's got you. I don't know if you can see the little.
You
There
look
you
like a pirate there.
It looks. What's that?
You look like a pirate there,
I know.
scoping out your next island.
Like,
I said, let's be mates. On the thing, and for a second you said pirates. I saw mateys, and I was like,
Maybe. Yeah.
and it has an interesting texture to it, like the little nubs. I can see where that would hit their gums and kind of scrub the other teeth and the little grooves in it. So yeah, I told my wife, I go, we're gonna test it out with our dogs and see, because we got 3 of them, small, medium, and large, cocoa, butter, and Snickers. It's almost like a fat person named them. But
How much
yeah,
weight
so
have you lost? Wait. Let's just go back. How much weight have
Yeah.
you lost?
since the beginning of the thing,
No, since yesterday.
no, close to 75.
Wow. Congratulations, bud.
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
great.
thanks, man. Yeah,
That's
close
awesome.
to 75, but like 40 something, 42 since Christmas.
Wow.
Yeah. I've been hitting it kind of hard, but yeah, I feel good. And yeah, I probably needed one of these with a burger in it to slow me down back in the day.
Yeah, we're coming out with a human version very shortly.
Yeah. Not only will you reduce your calorie intake, dude, you get your jaw strength up and get your gums right, and to start off with a bang, bing, bam. And yeah, guys, thank you so much for joining us. Becky with Through the Lens event photography.
Lens.
Check her out on Facebook.
Yeah.
And Ian Miller at
Instagram.
imiller.com. Is that right?
See how easy it was to remember?
Boom. See. Oh, and you guys know me, Carlos and Sandy. Feel better. She wanted to be here, and because she hadn't seen you in a while. Ian, you've been on the show before, and Becky, of course. But yeah, her voice wasn't right, and I'm like, listen, I got everybody scheduled. Do you mind if I just go ahead and because we have that relationship, and we definitely don't want to cutting not let her participate, but. Yeah, so she's wasn't 100%, so she's recouping, but she's fine. She's not. I mean, I don't want to say, I don't want to be dramatic, but her voice wasn't right, and
Okay.
she'll be back next week, guys. So
Good.
Oh, good. I'll come back next week then.
all right,
I'll
guys.
probably have another dozen companies that want plugs.
You're always
Hey.
welcome, man. We'll get you back. Becky, thanks again for. I know
Yeah,
you just last minute,
thanks.
dude, and I really appreciate you
No, thanks for having me. I love it. I love co-hosting with you. It's fun. So
jumping on. So, yeah,
Thank you so much for having me, guys. This was a blast.
Thank you, sir. Guys, last words, anyone?
Melt.
Yeah.
Melt.
You still have ice out there?
I still have ice.
Oh man, I might visit in June, but I'm not going up there.
Hopefully it'll be melted by then.
I'll say this: I lived in the Poconos in Pennsylvania, real beautiful place, mountainy, deer, bear, the whole shebang. Right? I had a little shadowy side of the backyard next to the deck that had ice till Easter. It was ridiculous. I'm like, we got to get off this rock. We got to go. I can't take this. And we've been in Atlanta sweating ever since, bro. So that's how that goes.
Well, you'll see by the drink pictures as the ice melts.
There we go. Yeah, that's my my go by. Well, guys, thank you so much. And we normally sign off with our patented departure phrase, and I think Becky knows what it is, but
I do know what it is now.
so guys,
No.
thank you for listening, and go floss yourselves.
Are we gonna do it all together?
Yeah, all right.
You
No, I'm
just
gonna cut
gotta,
that part out. So on three, on three,
Yeah.
can we hit the people with that? Ready, guys? And
Yeah.
1, 2, 3,
Go
floss
floss
yourselves.
Go floss yourself.
There you go. It's the stupidest thing in the world, but thanks for participating.
No, it's fun though.
Mature nonsense there. All right, guys, I'm gonna stop recording and
All right.
take care.